Hello, sleepy friends. Welcome to your sleep story. Tonight, we're leaving behind the noise and bustle of the world and stepping into a place where time moves slowly, where the rhythm of rain replaces the ticking of clocks, and where the gentle crash of distant waves reminds us that we are small, safe, and perfectly at peace. Picture yourself walking along a quiet coastal road. The air is cool and fresh, carrying with it the scent of salt and sea. Above you, clouds have gathered, soft, grey and full, and they've begun to release their gentle gift of rain. Not a harsh downpour, but a tender, steady rain that taps softly on your shoulders and whispers against the pavement beneath your feet. As you walk, you notice a warm glow ahead. Through the misty rain, you see it. A small coffee shop nestled between weathered driftwood fences and wild beach grasses. Its windows are fogged with warmth, glowing like lanterns in the dim afternoon light. A hand-painted sign swings gently in the coastal breeze, creaking ever so slightly. You can just make out the words, "The Driftwood Café." You pause at the door, feeling the cool rain on your face one last time before you step inside. The door opens with a soft chime, and instantly you're enveloped in warmth. The scent of freshly brewed coffee mingles with the faint sweetness of cinnamon and vanilla. Soft jazz plays somewhere in the background, barely audible beneath the gentle patter of rain against the windows. There are only a few other souls here, scattered throughout the cozy space, each lost in their own quiet worlds. A woman reads by the window. An older man sketches in a worn notebook. No one looks up as you enter. This is a place where everyone belongs, and no one needs to explain why they've come. You find a seat near the window, where you can watch the rain trace delicate paths down the glass. Beyond the window, the ocean stretches out, grey and endless, merging with the sky in a soft blur. The waves roll in slowly, steadily, like breaths. A kind barista brings you a cup of something warm. Perhaps coffee, perhaps tea. It doesn't matter. What matters is the warmth in your hands, the steam rising gently, the feeling of being exactly where you're meant to be. So settle in. Let the rain fall. Let the ocean breathe. Let the warmth of this little cafe wrap around you like a blanket. Tonight, you have nowhere else to be. Tonight, you are home. The door closes softly behind you, and for a moment, you simply stand there, letting the transition happen. Outside, the world is grey and wet and wild. Inside, everything is warm and hushed and golden. It's as though you've stepped through a veil from one reality into another, a gentler one, where time doesn't rush and nothing is urgent. You take a slow breath, and the scent of coffee fills your lungs. It's rich and dark, with notes of chocolate and something earthy, something grounding. Somewhere beneath it, you catch the sweetness of baked goods, perhaps muffins or scones, still warm from the oven. Your shoulders relax without you telling them to. Your jaw unclenches. Already, this place is working its quiet magic on you. The cafe is small, intimate. The walls are made of reclaimed wood, weathered and worn smooth by salt and time. They're adorned with old photographs in mismatched frames, black and white images of fishing boats, lighthouses, families gathered on porches. There are shelves lined with books, their spines faded and cracked, inviting you to pull one down and lose yourself in someone else's story. A few pieces of driftwood serve as decorations, their twisted shapes casting gentle shadows in the soft light. The lighting itself is perfect, not too bright, not too dim. A collection of Edison bulbs hangs from the ceiling on long cords, glowing amber and warm. Table lamps with cloth shades sit on the windowsills, casting pools of yellow light that mix with the cool grey filtering through the rain-streaked glass. It's the kind of lighting that makes you want to stay, to settle in, to let hours pass unnoticed. You move further into the space, your footsteps soft on the worn wooden floor. There are perhaps a dozen tables scattered throughout the room, no two exactly alike. Some are round, some square. Some are smooth and polished, others rough-hewn and rustic. Each has a small vase with a single stem, wildflowers, dried grasses, sprigs of lavender. Simple, unpretentious, perfect. Most of the tables are empty. This isn't a busy place, and that's exactly as it should be. This cafe doesn't advertise. It doesn't need to. People find it when they're meant to, when they need it most. And today, you needed it. Near the back, a woman sits with a book open before her. She's wrapped in a thick cardigan, her hands cupped around a mug, her eyes moving slowly across the page. She doesn't rush. Every so often, she lifts her gaze to the window, watching the rain for a moment before returning to her story. There's no urgency in her movements, no restlessness. She's exactly where she wants to be. At another table, closer to the counter, an older man sits with a leather-bound journal. His hand moves steadily across the page, a fountain pen scratching softly. He pauses occasionally, thinking, then continues. Perhaps he's writing a letter. Perhaps he's recording memories. Perhaps he's simply putting words to paper because it feels good to do so. You don't know, and you don't need to. His story is his own. The barista behind the counter looks up as you approach, and she smiles. A genuine smile, warm and unhurried. She's probably in her 50s, with silver streaks in her dark hair and laugh lines around her eyes. She wears a simple apron over a cream-colored sweater, and she moves with the easy confidence of someone who's done this 1,000 times and still loves it. "Good morning," she says, her voice soft, not wanting to disturb the peace of the room. "What can I get for you today?" You glance at the chalkboard menu behind her. The handwriting is elegant and flowing, listing coffees and teas, pastries and soups. Everything sounds wonderful, but you know what you want. Something warm, something comforting, something to hold while you watch the rain. You order, and she nods, already moving to prepare it. There's no hurry in her movements either. She grinds the beans with care, measures the water precisely, moves the steaming wand through the milk with practiced ease. This isn't just a transaction to her. This is craft. This is ritual. This is care made tangible. While you wait, you turn to look out the large front window. The rain is steady now, falling in soft vertical lines that blur the world beyond. The ocean is just visible past the beach grasses and dunes, a strip of grey-blue that shifts and moves, eternal and patient. You can't quite hear the waves from inside, but you know they're there, rolling in and out, keeping time with something far older than clocks. A few gulls drift past the window, their white wings stark against the grey sky. They seem unbothered by the rain, gliding and circling with effortless grace. One lands on a weathered fence post just outside, ruffling its feathers, shaking off droplets of water. It looks in through the window, black eyes bright and curious, then launches itself back into the air. "Here you are," the barista says, and you turn to find your drink waiting on the counter. It's in a ceramic mug, heavy and substantial, the kind that feels good in your hands. coffee is topped with a delicate leaf design in foam, already beginning to blur and fade, beautiful and temporary, like everything else. You thank her, wrapping both hands around the mug, feeling its warmth seep into your palms. She smiles again and returns to whatever she was doing, wiping down the espresso machine, maybe, or arranging pastries in the display case. There's no rush. There's never a rush here. You turn and survey the room, looking for the perfect spot. Your eyes are drawn immediately to a corner table near the window, a small round table with two mismatched chairs, positioned so that you can see both the ocean and the length of the cafe. One of the Edison bulbs hangs nearby, casting its warm glow. The windowsill beside the table holds a small succulent in a ceramic pot and a well-worn paper bag someone left behind. You make your way over and settle into the chair, positioning yourself so you're facing the window. The seat is cushioned and comfortable, broken in by countless others who've sat here before you, seeking the same thing you seek now: peace, quiet, a moment outside of time. You set your mug on the table and simply sit for a moment, taking it all in. The warmth of the cafeta against your back, the coolness of the window glass radiating from just inches away, the soft patter of rain, the distant murmur of the espresso machine, the quiet turning of a page from the woman with her book, the scratch of pen on paper from the man with his journal. This is a place of small sounds, gentle sounds, sounds that don't demand attention but offer themselves freely to anyone willing to listen. And you are willing. You've come here to listen, to watch, to simply be. You lift the mug to your lips and take your first sip. The coffee is perfect, smooth and rich, not too bitter, with just a hint of sweetness. The warmth spreads through you, from your mouth to your chest to your belly, radiating outward like sunlight. You close your eyes for just a moment, savoring it, and when you open them again, the world seems even softer than before. Outside, the rain continues its steady rhythm. Tap, tap, tap on the windows, a soft drumming on the roof above. Somewhere, water runs through a downspout, a gentle gurgling sound that blends with everything else. The sky remains grey, but it's not a harsh grey, not an angry grey. It's soft, like dove feathers, like pearl, like smoke. You watch a raindrop trace its way down the window glass. It starts at the top, a perfect bead, then begins its slow journey downward. It meanders, joining with other drops, separating, joining again, creating a tiny river on the glass. You follow its path all the way to the bottom of the pane, where it finally disappears into the wooden frame. Another drop begins its journey, and another, endless, patient, each one unique, each one part of something larger. You could watch this forever, you think. You could sit here and watch the rain and sip your coffee and let the hours pass like water. And perhaps you will. The jazz playing in the background shifts to a new song. Something with piano and upright bass, slow and melodic. It's the kind of music that doesn't demand attention, that sits comfortably in the background, filling the spaces between sounds. The pianist's touch is light, almost hesitant, each note allowed to ring out fully before the next one comes. The bass walks along beneath it, steady and sure, like footsteps on a familiar path. You take another sip of your coffee, feeling its warmth spread through you once more. Your muscles, which you didn't even realize were tense, begin to release. Your breathing slows, deepens. Your mind, which came here racing with thoughts and worries and lists of things undone, begins to quiet. There's nothing you need to do right now. Know where you need to be. No one waiting for you, no obligations pressing. For this moment, this hour, this morning, you are free. Free to sit, free to watch, free to simply exist in this warm, quiet space while the rain falls outside. You settle deeper into your chair, your body finding its most comfortable position. You'll stay here a while, you decide. You'll drink your coffee slowly, savoring every sip. You'll watch the rain and the ocean and the soft grey world beyond the glass. You'll listen to the gentle sounds of the cafe, the music, the rain, the quiet presence of other souls seeking the same refuge you've found. And for now, for this perfect, peaceful now, that is more than enough. Time has passed, though you're not quite sure how much. It could be 20 minutes. It could be an hour. Here, in this warm corner of the world, time doesn't measure itself in minutes, but in heartbeats, in breaths, in the slow cooling of coffee and the gentle arc of rain across glass. Your mug is half empty now, or perhaps half full. It depends on how you choose to see it. Either way, it's still warm enough to hold comfortably, still fragrant enough to lift to your face and breathe in. You do this now, closing your eyes and letting the aroma fill your senses. Coffee and comfort, steam and safety. Outside, the rain has changed. What began as a gentle patter has deepened into something more substantial. Not violent, not angry. This is still a soft rain, a coastal rain, but fuller now, more present. The drops are larger, falling with more weight, more purpose. They drum against the window with a steadier rhythm, creating a kind of music, a percussion that needs no other instruments. You can hear it on the roof too, a layer of sound above you, constant and soothing. It's the sound of being sheltered, of being protected. Every drop that hits the roof is a drop that doesn't hit you, and there's something deeply comforting in that. The cafe holds you, the walls surround you, the roof covers you. You are safe here, and dry, and warm. The light in the cafe has shifted as the storm has deepened. The grey from outside has grown darker, richer, and in response, the golden glow from the Edison bulbs seems warmer than before. The contrast is beautiful. The cool dimness beyond the glass, the amber radiance within. It makes the cafe feel even more like a refuge, a haven carved out of ordinary space and made extraordinary by circumstance. You watch the rain streak down the window in rivulets now, no longer single drops making their solitary journeys, but streams, channels, tiny rivers that merge and separate and merge again. They catch the light in different ways, sometimes gleaming silver, sometimes almost invisible, sometimes refracting the gold from inside into tiny prisms of colour that vanish as quickly as they appear. Beyond the rain-blurred glass, the world has become impressionistic. The beach grasses bend and sway in the wind, their shapes blurred and doubled by the water on the window. The ocean is a wash of grey and white, the distinction between sea and sky almost impossible to determine. The whole world has become soft-edged, dreamlike, as though reality itself has decided to rest for a while. A gust of wind presses against the building, and you hear it, a low whoosh that makes the windows tremble slightly in their frames. The rain responds, suddenly horizontal for a moment, before falling vertical again. The cafe seems to huddle more closely around you, its walls a gentle embrace against the wildness outside. The barista moves quietly through the space, refilling the woman's tea, exchanging a few soft words with the older man. Her movements are graceful, economical, practiced. She's done this dance 1,000 times, moving through this small space with pots of coffee and tea, with plates and napkins, with smiles and quiet kindness. She glances your way, catching your eye, and raises a coffee pot slightly, a silent question. You nod, grateful, and she makes her way over. "How are you doing?" she asks, her voice barely above a murmur as she refills your cup. The coffee pours in a smooth arc, dark and steaming, releasing a fresh wave of aroma. "Perfect," you say, and you mean it. The word feels inadequate, too small to contain what you're feeling, but it's the closest word you have. She smiles, understanding written in the lines around her eyes, and moves on. You wrap your hands around the newly warmed mug and take a sip. It's even better than the first cup. Or perhaps you're simply more receptive now, more present, more able to taste and appreciate. The coffee rolls over your tongue, rich and complex, and you swallow slowly, feeling it warm you from the inside out. The music has changed again. You hadn't noticed when it happened, but the jazz is different now. Something with saxophone and brushes on drums, slow and bluesy and full of feeling. The saxophone player bends notes like they're made of something liquid, pulling them out long and expressive, telling stories without words. It's the perfect accompaniment to the rain, both of them speaking the same language of mood and atmosphere. You become aware of the other sounds in the cafe, the small symphonic details that make up this moment. The hiss and gurgle of the espresso machine as the barista prepares another drink. The soft clink of a spoon against ceramic as someone stirs sugar into their cup. The whisper of a page turning, the creak of a chair as someone shifts position. The gentle breathing of the building itself, settling into the storm. And beneath it all, always, the rain. It's become the baseline of everything, the foundation upon which all other sounds rest. Sometimes you notice it consciously, bringing your attention to its rhythm and pattern. Other times, it recedes into the background, becomes part of the silence rather than interrupting it. But it's always there, constant, reliable, patient. A particularly strong gust rattles the windows, and for a moment, everyone in the cafe looks up. Eyes meet briefly across the room. A shared acknowledgement of the weather, a mutual appreciation for being inside. Then, just as quickly, everyone returns to what they were doing. The woman to her book, the man to his journal, you to your window, your coffee, your rain watching. There's something about storms that brings people together, even in silence. Something about shared shelter, shared safety. You don't know these other people. You haven't spoken to them beyond polite nods and murmured hellos, but you're connected to them nonetheless, bound by this moment, this place, this weather that has brought you all here seeking the same thing. The rain intensifies again, and now you can hear individual drops hitting the window with enough force to make tiny percussive pops. The ocean beyond has disappeared entirely into the grey, and even the beach grasses are barely visible, reduced to dark shapes that sway and bend in the wind. The world has contracted to just this: the cafe, the warmth, the light, the sound of rain. You take another sip of coffee and let your gaze go soft, unfocused. You're not trying to see anything in particular anymore, not trying to track individual raindrops or identify shapes in the storm. You're simply looking, simply being, simply allowing the greyness and the rain and the rhythm to wash over you. You're breathing, has synchronized with the rain without you realizing it. Deep breath in as a gust brings a fresh wave of drops against the glass. Slow breath out as the rain softens for a moment. In and out, like the tide, like the ocean that's still out there somewhere beyond the grey, breathing its own ancient rhythm. The warmth of the cafe seems to deepen, to become more tangible. It's not just the temperature of the air anymore, but something more. A quality of feeling, of atmosphere, of being held and comforted. The walls feel closer in the best possible way, not confining, but embracing. The ceiling feels lower, more protective. The whole space has become a cocoon, a shelter within the shelter, a bubble of warmth and light floating in a sea of grey. You notice your shoulders have dropped even further than before. Your jaw is completely relaxed. Your hands rest loosely around your mug. No tension in the fingers. Even your thoughts have slowed, become less urgent, less demanding. They drift through your mind like clouds, soft and shapeless, requiring nothing of you. The rain continues its drumming, its singing, its endless patient falling. And you continue your sitting, your watching, your quiet being. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. The storm has given you permission to stop, to rest, to simply exist in this moment, for as long as it lasts. Outside, the world is wet and wild. Inside, you are dry and warm and perfectly, completely at peace. The cafe breathes around you. The rain falls above and beside you. The coffee warms you from within. And time, that usually urgent taskmaster, has finally, mercifully, decided to leave you alone. You close your eyes for just a moment, listening to the layers of sound. The rain on the roof, the rain on the windows, the soft jazz from the speakers, the gentle movements of the barista, the ocean somewhere beyond, invisible but present, all of it blending together into something that isn't quite music and isn't quite silence, but something in between, something perfect. When you open your eyes again, the rain is still falling. It will continue to fall for some time yet, you think, and you will continue to sit here, in this warm corner, watching and listening and being for as long as the storm allows. There's no hurry. There's never any hurry here. Just the rain and the warmth and the endless, patient present moment, unfolding one drop at a time. The rain has settled into its rhythm now, a steady companion rather than a surprise. It no longer demands your attention, but offers itself freely, a constant presence that has become as natural as breathing. You've stopped tracking individual drops, stopped measuring the intensity. The rain simply is, and you simply are, and that's enough. Your coffee cup sits before you, nearly empty now, a small ring of foam clinging to the inside. You could order another, but you don't need to. The warmth you sought has found its way inside you and settled there, independent of the beverage. You're warm from within now, comfortable, deeply at ease. Your gaze drifts from the window to the interior of the cafe, and for the first time, you allow yourself to really see the other people who share this space with you. Not to intrude on their privacy, not to stare, but simply to notice, to appreciate, to wonder gently about the lives that have brought them here on this rainy day. The woman with the book is still there, still reading, but her posture has changed. She's curled up more deeply in her chair now, her legs tucked beneath her, her cardigan wrapped more tightly around her shoulders. The book rests against her drawn-up knees, and her face is soft with concentration. Every few moments, a small smile touches her lips, Something in the story has pleased her, some turn of phrase or unexpected development. You wonder what she's reading. A novel, certainly. Something that transports her somewhere else. Somewhere perhaps as far from here as possible. Or perhaps somewhere very close. A story about the sea, maybe. About love, or loss, or finding your way home. She lifts her mug to her lips and drinks without taking her eyes from the page. A practice movement, automatic. The mug must be nearly cold by now, but she doesn't seem to mind or notice. She's not here for the tea anymore. She's here for the story, for the quiet, for the permission to disappear into someone else's world, while the rain keeps the real world at bay. You understand this. You've done this yourself, countless times. There's something sacred about reading in a public place, something that feels simultaneously solitary and communal. You're alone with your book, but you're alone together with others who understand the need for this particular kind of solitude. Your attention shifts to the older man with the journal. He's paused in his writing and sits now with the pen resting against his lips, gazing out the window at nothing in particular. His eyes have that distant look of someone who's not really seeing what's in front of them, but rather something internal, something remembered or imagined. He's perhaps 70, maybe older, with silver hair and weathered hands that speak of a life lived fully, actively. What is he writing? Memories, perhaps. Maybe he's recording the story of his life for children or grandchildren who will want to know where they came from, who they are. Or perhaps it's something more immediate, a journal entry about this day, this cafe, this rain. Maybe he's writing about loss, about someone who used to sit across from him at tables like this. Or maybe he's writing about joy, about gratitude, about the simple pleasure of being here, now, still alive and able to hold a pen and form words. He blinks, returns to himself, and bends back to the page. The pen begins to move again, his hand forming words with careful deliberation. There's no hurry in his writing. Each word is considered, chosen, placed deliberately on the page. This isn't typing, isn't texting, isn't the rapid-fire communication of the modern world. This is slow writing, thoughtful writing, the kind that engages the whole body, hand, arm, shoulder, mind, heart. You realize that everyone here is engaged in some form of creation or consumption. The woman is consuming story. The man is creating it. The barista is creating comfort, creating warmth, creating moments of small kindness with every cup she pours. And you, what are you creating? Perhaps nothing more than awareness, presence, attention. And perhaps that's enough. Perhaps that's everything. A new figure enters the cafe, and the door chime sounds its gentle greeting. A young man, maybe in his 20s, steps inside with a gust of wind and rain. His jacket is soaked, his hair plastered to his forehead, and he's laughing, actually laughing, at his own drenched state. He's carrying a beat-up guitar case, covered in stickers from various cities and venues. Got caught in it, he says to the barista, still grinning, and she smiles back with understanding and perhaps a touch of amusement. The usual, she asks, and he nods, already pulling out his wallet. He takes his coffee to a corner opposite you and carefully removes his guitar from its case. The instrument is old, well-loved, the wood worn smooth in places where his hand has rested thousands of times. He tunes it quietly, softly, turning the pegs with practiced ease, plucking strings so gently that the sound barely carries across the room. He's not performing. He's not here to be heard. He's simply tuning, simply preparing, simply being with his instrument the way the woman is being with her book, and the man is being with his journal. Once satisfied with the tuning, he begins to play, and it's barely louder than the rain. His fingers move over the strings with fluid grace, picking out a melody that has no beginning and no end. Just a series of notes that flow into each other like water, like rain, like the waves outside. It's not quite jazz, not quite folk, not quite anything you can name. It's just music, pure and simple, existing for its own sake. The melody weaves itself into the fabric of the cafe, another thread in the tapestry of sound. It doesn't compete with the rain or the jazz still playing softly from the speakers. Instead, it harmonizes, finds spaces between the drops and the saxophone notes, fills them gently, adds depth and texture. The young man's eyes are closed, his head tilted slightly, and you can see that he's not thinking about what he's playing. His fingers know the way. They're telling their own story, one they've told many times before. The barista moves behind the counter, washing mugs in a sink of soapy water. Even this sound becomes part of the symphony. The gentle splash of water, the soft clink of ceramic, the quiet running of the tap. She hums along with the guitar, so softly you almost can't hear it, but it's there, a human voice adding its own small note to the moment. You realize that this cafe is full of stories, each person a narrative in progress, each moment adding another line to tales that have been unfolding for years, decades, lifetimes. The woman's story has led her here, to this chair, to this book, to this rainy day. What path did she walk to arrive at this moment? What choices, what chances, what circumstances? The older man's story is longer, richer with years. How many storms has he weathered? How many cafes has he sat in? How many journals has he filled with words and memories and observations? His story is still being written, still unfolding, even now as the pen moves across the page. The young musician's story is still young, still forming. The stickers on his guitar case are chapters, places he's been, stages he's played, journeys he's taken. And here he is now, in this small coastal cafe, playing for no one and everyone, adding another moment to his collection. And your story has brought you here too, through whatever weather you've been walking through, whatever storms internal or external, whatever path of choices and chances and circumstances, you've arrived here, at this table, in this corner, on this rainy day. And for now, this is exactly where your story needs to be. You understand suddenly that you're not separate from these people. Not really. You're all connected by the simple fact of being human, of seeking shelter, of needing sometimes to step away from the noise and the rush and the demands of life. You're connected by your shared appreciation for rain, for warmth, for quiet, for the small rituals that make life bearable and beautiful. Coffee, tea, books, music, words on a page. The guitarist shifts to a different melody, something slower, something that sounds almost like a lullaby. The woman with the book turns another page. The older man pauses, rereads what he's written, nods to himself, continues. The barista finishes washing mugs and begins wiping down the counter with slow, circular motions. And outside, the rain continues its ancient song, the song it's been singing since long before any of you were born, the song it will sing long after you're gone. It falls on the roof, on the windows, on the beach, on the ocean, connecting all things with water, with weather, with the simple fact of being part of this turning world. You take a deep breath and let it out slowly, feeling profoundly grateful for this moment, this place, these strangers who are not quite strangers anymore. You don't know their names, you haven't spoken to most of them, but you've shared something nonetheless. This space, this time, this weather, this quiet communion of souls seeking peace. The light in the cafe has grown dimmer as the afternoon has progressed, the grey outside deepening toward evening. But the golden glow from the Edison bulbs seems warmer than ever, more necessary, more cherished. The cafe feels even more like a sanctuary now, even more like a place outside of time, where stories can unfold at their own pace and people can simply be. You settle deeper into your chair, feeling the weight of your own story, the accumulation of all the moments that have led to this one. And you let yourself rest in it. Rest in this knowing that you are here now, part of this quiet tapestry, this collection of stories being written in real time. One rainy afternoon at a seaside cafe where time moves slowly and the rain falls steadily, and everything for this perfect moment is exactly as it should be. The afternoon has slipped away so quietly that you barely noticed its passing. Time has moved like the tide, pulling away from the shore so gradually that you only realize it's gone when you look up and see how far the water has receded. The grey light outside has deepened into something softer, something that suggests evening without quite being night yet. That liminal time, that in-between hour when the world holds its breath before transitioning into darkness. The rain has changed again. The intensity has eased. The drumming on the roof gentled into something lighter, more delicate. It's no longer a storm, but a steady, patient misting. The kind of rain that could last all night, that asks nothing of you except that you listen, that you rest, that you let it sing you into whatever comes next. Inside the cafe, the Edison bulbs glow warmer than ever, their amber light now the primary illumination as the natural light continues to fade. Someone, perhaps the barista, perhaps the cafe itself, has lit a few candles on the tables. They flicker gently in their small glass holders, adding their own soft light to the golden haze. The effect is magical, transformative. The cafe no longer feels like a place of business, but like someone's home, like a gathering place for travelers who have found their way here through the rain and decided, wordlessly, to stay. You realize you've been here for hours. Your body knows it. There's a pleasant stiffness in your shoulders, a gentle ache from sitting, the kind that speaks of rest rather than discomfort. Your coffee cup is long empty, but you haven't moved to order another. You don't need one. The warmth has become internalized, permanent. You carry it with you now. The woman with the book has closed it at last, a finger marking her place. She stares out the window with a distant, dreamy expression, still half living in the world of her story, not quite ready to leave it behind completely. Her cardigan is wrapped around her like a blanket, and she looks so comfortable, so deeply at peace, that you feel peaceful just looking at her. The older man has put down his pen. His journal lies closed before him, its leather cover dark with age and use. His hands rest on either side of it, palms down, as though he's giving it a blessing, or perhaps drawing strength from all the words contained within. His eyes are closed, and for a moment, you think he might be sleeping. But then, you see the slight curve of his lips. He's not asleep. He's simply resting, simply being. The young musician is still playing, but his music has evolved throughout the afternoon. What began as gentle melodies has become something even more ambient, more atmospheric. His fingers barely touch the strings now, coaxing out notes that hang in the air like the candlelight, soft and wavering and beautiful. Sometimes there are long pauses between notes, spaces where only the rain and the distant ocean fill the silence. And then another note comes, unexpected and perfect, and the moment completes itself. The barista has dimmed the lights behind the counter. She moves through the cafe now like a guardian spirit, checking on each person with her eyes, making sure everyone has what they need without intruding on anyone's reverie. She catches your gaze and smiles, and there's something in that smile that says she understands, that she's seen this many times before. People who come seeking shelter from the rain and find something deeper, something more lasting. Through the window, past the rivulets of rain still trailing down the glass, you can just make out the ocean. It's almost invisible now in the gathering dusk, more felt than seen. But you know it's there. You can sense its presence, its steady breathing. The waves are still rolling in, still rolling out, patient and eternal, keeping time with something vast and ancient and completely trustworthy. The rhythm of the rain, the whisper of the guitar, the distant sound of the waves, they're all beginning to blend together, to harmonize in a way that transcends individual sounds and becomes something unified, something whole. It's like the cafe itself is breathing, like the building has become a living thing with the storm as its heartbeat and the ocean as its lungs. You feel your own breathing slow to match this rhythm. Each inhale is long and deep, pulling in the scent of coffee and candle wax and rain-washed air. Each exhale is even longer, releasing tension you didn't know you were holding, letting go of worries that suddenly seem very small and very far away. Your chest rises and falls. The rain rises and falls. The waves rise and fall. Everything is connected. Everything is breathing together. Your eyelids have grown heavy, not with exhaustion, but with a deep, satisfying tiredness, the kind that comes from being completely relaxed, completely safe. It would be so easy to close your eyes, so easy to let yourself drift. And perhaps that's exactly what you should do. The cafe will hold you. The walls will shelter you. The rain will sing to you. The ocean will breathe for you. You don't need to do anything now except rest, except allow, except receive what this place is offering you. You let your eyes close, just for a moment. The sounds become even more present when you're not looking. The gentle patter of rain on the windows, the soft notes of the guitar stretching out like sighs, the distant rush of waves meeting shore. Somewhere, a candle sputters. Somewhere, a chair creaks. Somewhere, someone turns a page. All of it part of the symphony, all of it perfect. When you open your eyes again, though you're not sure you need to, the world seems even softer, even more dreamlike. The boundaries between inside and outside have blurred. The rain is both out there and in here, both separate from you and a part of you. The cafe has expanded somehow, become infinite, become everywhere and nowhere all at once. The musician plays a final note, so soft, so gentle, and then lets his hand rest on the strings, quieting them. The silence that follows isn't empty. It's full of rain, full of breath, full of presence. He doesn't start another song. This is the end of his playing, at least for now. He simply sits with his guitar, his head bowed, his eyes closed, at peace. The woman with the book has set it aside. She's gazing out the window now, watching the last light fade from the sky, watching the rain continue its gentle descent. She's smiling slightly, that same soft smile, as though she's just remembered something wonderful, or perhaps has just now understood something she's been wondering about for a long time. The older man opens his eyes and looks around the cafe with an expression of quiet gratitude. His gaze passes over you, and there's a moment of connection, a wordless acknowledgement. We are here. We have shared this afternoon. We have been part of something together. And then his gaze moves on, gentle and undemanding. The barista begins to move more slowly, more quietly, as though she too is feeling the pull toward rest, toward the softness of evening. She doesn't bustle or hurry. She simply tends to her final tasks with the same grace and care she's shown all day, honoring the space, honoring the people in it, honoring the rain that's brought everyone together. You realize that you could stay here forever. That part of you will stay here forever, held in this moment, like a photograph, like a memory, like a dream you'll carry with you long after you've left. The rainy day at the Seaside Cafe, the warm corner by the window, the strangers who became companions without ever speaking, the rain that never stopped singing. But you also know that eventually, when you're ready, you'll stand. You'll pull on your jacket. You'll step back out into the rain, which will have softened to almost nothing by then. Just a mist in the darkness, cool against your face. You'll walk back down the coastal road, your footsteps soft on the wet pavement, the sound of the ocean following you home. But that's later. That's for some other moment, some other version of time. For now, you're still here, still sitting in your corner, still feeling the warmth, still listening to the rain, still breathing with the ocean, still perfectly, completely, deeply at peace. The candles flicker, the rain whispers, the waves breathe, and you let yourself sink deeper into the comfort of it all, deeper into the warmth, deeper into the sensation of being held by this place, this moment, this perfect convergence of rain and refuge and rest. Your eyes close again, and this time you don't fight it. You let them stay closed. Let the darkness behind your eyelids become part of the cafe's dim interior, part of the gathering evening, part of the natural transition from day into night, from wakefulness into something softer, something more like dreaming. The sounds continue around you, a lullaby made of rain and ocean and the gentle settling of the building. Someone blows out a candle, and you smell the smoke, sweet and earthy. Someone else gathers their things, preparing to leave, but they do it so quietly, it might be part of a dream. The barista hums something too soft to identify, or perhaps it's the wind, or perhaps it's the waves, or perhaps it's all the same thing. Everything is becoming softer, quieter, more distant, and yet somehow more intimate. The cafe is drawing you in, pulling you deeper into its embrace, offering you this gift of rest, of peace, of absolute safety. And you accept, you surrender, you let go. The rain continues, the ocean breathes, the cafe holds you, and you drift gently, peacefully into the warm darkness, into the soft forgetting, into the quiet space where sound becomes dream and dream becomes sleep and sleep becomes simply being, simply floating, simply resting in the arms of something vast and kind and infinitely patient. The last thing you're aware of is the rain, always the rain, soft against the windows, gentle on the roof, singing you deeper, deeper into rest, into peace, into the sweet surrendered darkness where nothing is required of you except to breathe, to be, to sleep. And so you do. You rest, you dream. The cafe breathes around you, the rain sings above you, the ocean keeps its eternal rhythm beyond, and you are held safe, warm, and completely, blissfully at peace.